Alright, so thanks for joining me again. Today I have a little project. Well, it's been going on for quite a while, but this is a Troybilt Junior tiller, and it's a rear tine tiller. These are really good tillers. My grandfather actually had one. His was a horse, so it was obviously a much bigger unit than this one. However, and that's kind of what I was seeking, but I was actually able to acquire this one for free. Somebody knew where one was, whatever, and got it, and we're just going to use it. We're going to get it back in good shape, and then hopefully we'll have a good little tiller. Probably it will do the job, but it's not the best at new ground, but it will definitely do it. What I've got going here, I've got the engine taken off. This was a Tecumseh. I'm not exactly sure how you say it, but it has two cranks, if you will, or it has the main crank for going forward and a reverse crank. That engine was fairly well worn out. We actually put a new carburetor on it, but it just did not have the power. It was a 127 cc engine. I think it was 3.5 horsepower. So I've got a Briggs & Stratton 208 cc that I'm planning on putting on here. I've already got the engine pulley mounted. And anyway, when it was running, it was tilling. What I found was that it was underpowered, or the engine was worn out, and then the rear seals were leaking. So that's not going to work either. The wheels were seized onto the shaft. We got those loose, repaired or whatever, broke loose, and then the seals on the wheels were leaking. So we've got new seals on the wheel drive shafts. But what I really wanted to mention today, and probably maybe either this video or another video, I'll try to make them about 5 minutes or so, is getting the rear tine sleeves or whatever they are off. I've seen a couple people do it, and they wouldn't have done it on this one. So we'll use this. You'll need that. We also use this, and one of these, or a even more powerful torch. Okay, so here's a little more detail on how to do it. I've already got both tines off. This side came off with just a small torch, the PB Blaster, and I was actually able to use bolts and pull on the outside flange. But if your tine sleeve, or whatever this is called, I don't know why I haven't looked that up, is stuck severely bad, extremely stuck, this is the way it works really well, by going to the inside flange because of the way of the weld. There's no weld on this side, and you're pulling the weld on this side. It's on this side, so I guess it leverages or whatever. I actually broke this flange off on the other tine, so it's gonna have to be re-welded. This one was stuck pretty good. I have this 1/2 inch titanium Ingersoll Rand, and it puts out, I want to say, what was it? I think it's 1,000 foot-pounds of torque braking. I'll just show you how bad it was stuck. See, this is a snapped bolt that I used that impact broke the bolt that I had bolted onto the flange, and bent several other bolts. It actually bent these. But just, this is the way to do it. So I mean, I did work at this quite a bit. You got to replace the seals. So, and you can see these bolts are a little bent. I may show you a little bit better. But we found, I guess, a best practice, and I just wanted to share it. So obviously I got it. I actually already cleaned the inside, and these are loose. But if your tines are really stuck and you don't want to bend your flange as bad as mine are bent, leave 2 bolts in, tighten all these up real tight, and that'll give you some extra strength with this material here. It's just the way we did it. So all these tines you leave tight, and take your puller, and these are 3/8 by 5 inch on the junior, and there's a little play there, but that seemed to be okay. Now notice I have a backup nut, and there's only enough on this junior to get a nut on this side and on this side, almost not even enough to get a full thread, which is somewhat of a problem. But these are grade 8 bolts, still bent, but they didn't break. What this does with the nut on the back side is keeps this keeps your flange a little bit flatter. I would like to actually have a flat washer on there, but there's just not enough. If you had a 5-inch bolt, or this is a 5-inch bolt, if you had a little bit longer bolt, or more threads would be the best. If you had more threads, that would be great, but there's not enough threads on these bolts. So before we did this jam nut, it was just bending and bending and bending, and we kind of beat it back in place. We heated it, bent it, and then tried it again, and it just kept flexing, even with the tines on there. We put the jam nut on. It allowed us to get the force from the puller bolt straight into the shaft and not bend these tines. Now, some other people have used the pullers, the 3-tine puller. I didn't have one. I do have one now. I don't know if it would do it. It may. So obviously I did watch a guy do that with the 3 fork, whatever you call them, puller. So, but this we had to heat. We heated with a large a cutting torch this whole flange, and cooled the housing with water, cooled the shaft with water continually while we were heating, tried to impact. We did that one day, didn't get it. We waited a couple more days, and once we got these bolts and we were able to get the jam nut on here, that seemed to be the ticket. I don't know if it was just a matter of the PV blaster finally got through. We did heat it extremely large amount, but anyway, that's all I wanted to show. This little trick, if you're having some trouble, this may help you. The 3/8 bolts, jam nut, and a puller. I mean, you know, good machine, and you're trying to replace the seals. So now what I'm going to do is clean this shaft up. This is a 120 grit sanding wheel, sanding disc, or flapper disc. And just a pretty cheap little air tool, Grizzly, but fairly cheap. These air tools are really inexpensive. So let's clean this up. Got my eyeglasses on. that's cleaned up real nice. I think this is like a, I'm not sure what size this is, probably about a 1 inch, maybe 3/4. Anyway, it goes inside of this shaft, and I've actually already cleaned it up a little bit. So I'll lay this on the table here. Okay, so it's going for now till we get dirt built up in there. That's a lot better, huh? Okay, so we'll put some never sees on there, and hopefully we can keep these loose just like that. So that's great. Now I've got to replace this seal. The seal, and I also got bushings. So I was able to find the bushings. So I'm kind of excited, I'm kind of pumped up about getting everything back on and getting this thing running.